Dojun and Juyeon stared at each other. Juyeon apologized for the sudden visit, explaining that her uncle had asked her to come. Instead of selling the monastones to him, she offered to buy them herself. Dojun asked her how many she intended to buy, and with confidence, she declared that she would purchase everything he had. Dojun warned her that he had a lot, but Juyeon replied that the assets of an S rank were beyond imagination. Dojun agreed, but only on one condition, that there would be nothing in it for her personally. The scene then shifted. A glass shattered. Dojun's stepmother was furiously screaming at her manager. She accused him of telling her that Dojun was dead and demanded to know how he was still alive. In her rage, she threw a bottle at him. The manager, standing frustrated, apologized and explained that even the association had believed Dojun was dead. She screamed at him to stop making excuses and demanded who would take responsibility now. The manager informed her that Kang had been defeated by Dojun and suggested that perhaps Dojun already knew something. Shocked, she stopped her fit instantly and began thinking. If her husband or father learned of this, it would cause problems, so she needed to cover it before the media caught on. She ordered the manager to silence the police and intercept the media. The manager reassured her that both had already been dealt with. She fell into her chair, telling him he had done a good job, but he reminded her these were only temporary measures and that something permanent had to be done. He mentioned that Kang's cousin was Kang Yongpyo. Surprised, she asked if he meant the S-rank hunter Kang. The manager confirmed, explaining that Yongpyo had already taken action since if Kang Cheolwoo's reputation was dirtied, it would also affect him. She immediately ordered the manager to set up a meeting with Yongpyo. She then asked if the gangster had betrayed them, and when the manager confirmed it, she instructed him to contact Prosecutor Park immediately. The scene shifted again to a gate. An agent checked Juyeon's hero ID, confirmed her identity, and wished her a safe exploration. Juyeon and her party entered the gate with Dojun following them from behind. He noted that even though Juyeon was with them, security was very strict. One hunter remarked that it was unusual for Juyeon to suggest hunting in a rift zone. The one who spoke was Jong In-ju, an A-rank hunter. Juyeon replied that she simply wanted to have some fun. Quietly, as they walked, she glanced back at Dojun. After walking for some time, the party exited the passage and entered a forest. In-ju asked Juyeon honestly who Dojun was. Juyeon replied that he was just someone she knew. In-ju pressed further, asking if he was a potential boyfriend, but Juyeon denied it, saying she had only brought him because she owed him. Suddenly, a sharp gust of wind blew, causing panic among the hunters. They quickly formed their fighting stances, but Dojun stood still, looking upward. A massive monster was charging at them with full force. In-ju shouted in alarm. It was a cockatrice. Juyeon immediately gave orders to the vanguard, directing each of them on what to do. But before she could finish, Dojun suddenly sprinted toward the monster, leaping with such force that a shockwave burst from where he launched. He went straight for the creature's head. The hunters stared in shock, their mouths wide open, as Dojun gathered mana into his fist and quietly said, "First one." His punch landed directly on the monster's face, slamming it to the ground like a lightning strike. The monster crashed violently, as though struck by a missile. Dojun landed calmly, and Juyeon, standing behind him, was stunned. He approached the fallen creature, raised his foot, and smashed its face again. The hunters stood frozen in disbelief, unable to comprehend what they had just seen. In-ju, shocked, asked who he was. Juyeon, still stunned, replied with her mouth half open, "Just a strong human." In-ju shook her hard, snapping her out of her daze, while Juyeon began to wonder deeply about Dojun's true identity. Juyeon told In-ju they would have to change their plan. She put her glasses away and informed In-ju that she would move to the center for a while. Approaching Dojun, who was retrieving the mana stone from the monster's body, she listened as he told her he wouldn't share anything with anyone who hadn't contributed to the hunt. Juyeon assured him she wasn't asking for that, and then asked if he wanted to go deeper. Dojun gave a faint smile, saying it could be fun, and told her to lead the way. She instructed him to follow her since she knew the area well. Then she sprinted forward with all her strength, leaving Dojun behind in a cloud of dust. Dojun watched her blankly before adjusting his bag and preparing to move. The moment he started, he instantly vanished from sight, leaving behind a sonic boom that crumbled the ground. The party watching them compared their speed. saying that if Juyeon was a bullet, then Dojun was light itself. One hunter asked if they were going to follow, but Inju replied that anyone who could keep up was welcome to try. Staring at the defeated cockatrice, Inju muttered that they were nothing compared to S-rankers and that Dojun was even stronger than that. As Juyeon ran, she glanced back to look for Dojun, but he wasn't there. She considered slowing down, but suddenly Dojun appeared ahead of her from the opposite side, asking if they could go faster. Shocked, Juyeon stumbled. She couldn't believe what she had just seen. In terms of speed, she was among the top 2 in South Korea, yet Dojun had surpassed her effortlessly. Dojun suddenly stopped and, with a blank expression, told her she was slower than he expected. He pointed out that she had been running as if trying to make sure he wouldn't catch up. Flustered, Juyeon struggled to respond, while Dojun remained calm as though he had merely been walking. He looked ahead at a mountain rising from the forest and asked what was there. Juyeon explained that it was where the boss monster of the rift resided, a giant 20-meter wyvern known as Karselian. She warned him not to even think about attacking it. Dojun asked if it was the one with the Sang mana stone. Juyeon confirmed, telling him it was an imaginary grade mana stone. Without hesitation, Dojun began walking toward the mountain. Juyeon quickly tried to stop him, warning that it was reckless and that at least 3 S-rank hunters were needed to take it down. But before she could finish, Dojun had already rushed forward, leaving her behind. Shocked, Juyeon wondered what this man was trying to do. She immediately followed, and together they moved like the wind, leaving trails of dust as they advanced toward the mountain.